Governor Matawale signs Memorandum of Understanding for aerial surveillance helicopters in Zamfara State. The International Women's Day was celebrated in Zamfara State. Zema conducts need assessment visit to volatile areas. On business, falling oil price a challenge for Nigeria to look inwards. On sports, Arsenal manager Michael Arteta tests positive for coronavirus. And on the international scene, Ghana and Kenya record first case of coronavirus. Welcome to Standard Voice Television News. My name is Samira Ibrahim. Now the news in full. In furtherance of his administration's effort at ensuring optimum security in the state, Governor Bello Muhammad Matawale Maradon has signed a memorandum of understanding with a tested security company in Dubai, Worldwide Jet Aviation SA, for the supply of surveillance helicopters. According to a statement by the Special Advisor to Governor Bello Matawale on Public Enlightenment, Media and Communications, Alhaji Zailani Bappa, the originally American model of the helicopter is a recently remodeled type that has the capacity for advanced security surveillance, which is very convenient for the current war against terror in the state and its environs. The statement further said the helicopters are rocked and have camera capacities as well as a 3-hour stretch capacity for surveillance trip with a maximum speed of 224 km per hour and are equipped with tracker systems. When procured, the choppers are expected to be deployed for security surveillance and aerial patrol in the forests, borders and towns across the state in conjunction with the Nigeria Police and other security agencies in the state. As world celebrated the International Women's Day, Zamfara State is also not left behind. The International Women's Day was celebrated at JB Secretariat Gusau, the Zamfara State capital, under the able leadership of the First Lady of Zamfara State, Haji Aisha Bello Muhammad Matawale Maradon, on Wednesday in Gusau. The theme of this year is Each for Equal, which means if you send a boy to school, you should also send a girl to school. Hajia Kulisanda, a member of the UNICEF, was called upon to give the demonstration of the theme at the occasion. In her welcome address, Hajia Fatima Musa expressed delight on the people's turnout at the occasion and hoped that the occasion will reflect on the lives of women in Zamfara State.
Today is International Women's Day celebration for us, and we hope that as we are here, we're going to reflect on some of the issues that are affecting women. We're going to look back and see where are we coming from, where are we now, and what are we going to do to make positive impact in the lives of our girls and in the lives of our women.
Hajia Halima Muhammad Bungudu, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Women Affairs, who served as a representative of the Commissioner of Women, Children and Social Development, Hajia Zainab Gumi, commended the effort of the First Lady towards her contributions to the development of Zamfara State women, adding that the empowerment and dividend of democracy in Zamfara State under the leadership of Governor Bello Muhammad Matawale and his wife, the First Lady, has come to stay. She also called on the women to always appreciate the state government's efforts. Hajara Bigimbir Shankafi, as a social investment who represented the First Lady, gave an interactive presentation of the challenges women faced in Zamfara State and called on women to cooperate, support and love one another. She also appreciated the effort of the First Lady for remembering women always, even while she was away. She still sent her goodwill message to the women in the state.
Please, women, especially students, I want you to listen attentively, because this is a serious business. It's not going to be business as usual. By the time you're leaving here today, like Hajia said, you should be able to pick something that will energize you, that will inform you, that will make you feel it's no longer business as usual. The 2020 International Women's Day should be able to deposit something in you that will make you change your mindset. And that's why I think I'll first of all start thanking Her Excellency, the amiable, the beautiful, the intelligent, and the visionary First Lady of Zamfara State, Haja Aisha Bello Matoli Maradu.
Entertainment such as drama, singing all took place at the occasion, among several others. Over 12,000 women were empowered under the office of the First Lady within the range of 7 months. Some of the beneficiaries gave their success stories as a result of the 20,000 naira given to them as empowerment to start small-scale businesses and become self-reliant. The beneficiaries expressed their gratitude to Her Excellency the First Lady and her husband, the Executive Governor of the state. Some students also gave speeches on the importance of the girl-child education. Hajia Kulisanda, a member of UNICEF, called on the First Lady to help women and children in terms of health development, especially on immunization, antenatal care, among others. The ES Female Education Board, Hajia Barira Ibrahim Bagwabiri, marked the occasion as a very historical, which will never be forgotten in the history of Zamfara State. She commended the effort of the First Lady and the SA Social Investment for putting smiles on the faces of Zamfara State women and making them financially sustainable. She also called on women in the state to take education very serious, both Islamic and Western education, for it is very important in their lives, and prayed to Almighty to keep helping Zamfara State government. Awards were presented to women who played a very important roles and contributions immensely towards the development in the lives of women and children and Zamfara State as a whole. These women include Hajia Rabi Gimbir Shankafi as a social investment, Hajia Luba Ammani, Hajia Barira Ibrahim Bagobiri, Hajia Bilkisu Salihu Mafara, UNICEF, Save the Children, among others. In her remarks, the First Lady, Hajia Aisha Bello Mohammed Matawalli, ably represented by SA Social Investment, called on women to support one another towards achieving gender equality and growth to the development of Zamfara State.
Zamfara State is blessed with women and women achievers all over. Women that have what it takes to stand tall with their head high, to make sure they contribute towards the development of this state, development of Nigeria, and development of the world at large.
She also commended the giant effort of her husband, the Executive Governor of the state, Dr. Bello Mohammed Matawalle, towards development of women's life and children in the present and the future of Zamfara State. The occasion was graced by very important personalities of the state, which include Hajia Halima Muhammad Bungudu, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Women and Children Affairs, wife of the Deputy Speaker, ES Female Education Board, Hajia Barira Ibrahim Bagoberi, wife of Head of Service, Hajia Binta Kabir Balarabi Saddarun Isa, Women Leader PDP, Hajia Ai Waziri, Algon, represented by the wife of Birnam Magaji Chairman, Hajia Hadiza Rufai Imam, among others. In the bid to alleviate the suffering of the internally displaced persons, IDPs, following escalations in some volatile areas in Zamfara State, the Office of Special Advisor Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Hajia Faika Muhammad Ahmed, in collaboration with Zamfara Emergency Management Agency, ZEMA, conducted an assessment visit to areas affected by banditry in the state. The team, which started from Zamfara West, visited Anka, Bukoyum and Gumi local government areas, where it interacted with the IDPs and the traditional leaders. The aim of the visit, as described by Hajia Faika and the Senior Special Assistant ZEMA, Major Aliyu Muhammad Maradun, retired, is to prepare for the arrival of medical aid grants sourced from United Nations Population Fund by the Office of the Special Advisor on Strategy and Development, and to assess the situation and grant for the provision of relief materials for the victims of banditry by the state government. Addressing the IDPs and the traditional leaders, the Special Advisor on Strategy and Development, Garzali Shehu Ahmed, conveyed a consolation message from Governor Bello Mohammed Matawalle over the unfortunate tragedies they have gone through, assuring them of the administration's commitment to contain the situation and also provide relief materials. The Chairman Council of Chiefs, Emir of Anka, Alhaj At-Tahir Muhammad Ahmad, while receiving the team, expressed gratitude over the visit while lamenting how the daily tragedies in his emirate were left unattended by the immediate past administration. He assured the team of unflinching support in whatever capacity. The team then proceeded to the makeshift camp for IDPs in Anka for the need assessment before taking up to Gumi and Bukkoyin local government areas of the state. In Bukkoyin, the team visited Kwashi, where about 10,000 IDPs from neighboring villages of Gondo, Kawai, Kasali, and about 17 others are taking refuge. The district head lamented the living condition of the IDPs and earnestly appealed for intervention. In response, Hajia Faika disclosed that preparation for the distribution of both relief materials and medicines has been completed and the aid will be delivered next week. Zamfara State Governor Dr. Bello Muhammad Matawalli has appealed to the federal government to consider establishing a dry port in the state as an effort to improve the nation's economy. He said the dry port, if established in Zamfara State, will also improve economic activities of the neighboring states, which include Katsina, Kebbi, and Sokoto. The governor was represented by Chief of Staff Government House Colonel Bala Mande, retired, at the first Joint Consultative Council Conference of Senior Staff Association of Statutory Cooperation and Government-Owned Companies in Gusau, also called on the federal government to come out with a legal framework on mining to regulate artisanal miners in the state. Also called on the federal government to come out with a legal framework on mining to regulate artisanal miners in the state. Also called on the federal government to come out with a legal framework on mining to regulate artisanal miners in the state. Also called on the federal government to come out with a legal framework on mining to regulate. In her address, the Managing Director, Nigerian Port Authority, Mrs. Hadiza Bala Usman, represented by Mr. Koni Wono Siko, said the present administration remains focused on economic advancement of the country. She also appreciated the commitment of the staffs of Nigerian Port Authority and called on them to remain steadfast in the attaining set of objectives. Police in Zamfara State have gunned down one bandit and arrested 2 others for allegedly writing a threatening letter to villagers. In the letter, the 2 suspects were said to have told residents of Gelenge village in Gumi local government area of the state to raise 3 million naira within 3 days or the whole community will be wiped out. Parading the suspect in Gusau on Wednesday, the State Commissioner of Police Usman Nagogo said the suspects, Bello Sani and Awal Hassan, said the letter was pasted on the homes of the village head and the ward councillor. He said the suspect inscribed a phone number in the letter through which the villagers will call their contacts to deliver the money. On getting this information, the police launched a manhunt for the suspect and eventually arrested them, and they confessed to have committed the act. CP Nagogo said Bello Sani was once a wealthy man in the community, but when his fortunes dwindled, he decided to raise money from same community using the threatening letter. The police boss said the bandit was killed after they foiled an attack by him and his gang to attack Maitagwaye village in Svtv local government area of the state. The bandits stormed Maitagwaye village in an attempt to commit their heinous crime. On receiving the information, they quickly mobilized to the scene alongside the vigilante group and engaged them in a gunfight and gunned down one of them. President Muhammadu Buhari was in Kebbi State Thursday to declare open the Argungu Fishing and Cultural Festival. It was the first time the international tourism event will hold in 11 years, as security consideration had rendered it impracticable. As the president went around the arena to inspect rice pyramids on display and take photographs with farmers, a young man was so very excited to see the president so close and made an attempt to get to him. World over, such will not be allowed by security details, so the young man was prevented, and he protested that he should be allowed to greet the president. Now, professional contortionists are making mischief on the event by passing the video clip off on social media as an attempt to attack the president. Malicious people always twist things to give a negative narrative, but they simply dash their heads against the wall and country moves on. The Senate on Thursday passed for second reading a constitution amendment bill which prescribes higher national diploma or its equivalent as the educational qualification required for anyone seeking to contest the office of the Nigerian president or state governors. The bill, sponsored by a member of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) from Plateau State, Senator Ifeanyi Yang, also prescribed national diploma or its equivalent as the minimum qualification for federal and state lawmakers. The bill seeks to alter the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to provide for the amendment of Section 65, subsection 2A and 131D. It will also amend Section 106C and Section 177D on minimum education qualification for those seeking election into the State Assembly, Governor, National Assembly, and Office of the President. The bill seeks the alteration of Section 65, subsection 2 of the Constitution, which deals with the qualifications for intending members of the National Assembly. The current law, which the bill seeks to amend, reads, a person shall be qualified for election under subsection 1 of this section if he has been educated up to at least school certificate level or its equivalent. Section 65 2A has now been replaced to read, if he has been educated to at least a national diploma level or its equivalent. The bill also seeks the alteration of Section 131D, which deals with the minimum requirement for anyone running for the office of the governor. The current section of the Constitution stated that the person must have been educated up to at least school certificate level or its equivalent. Section 131D is now replaced to read, he has been educated up to at least HND level or its equivalent. For House of Assembly, the bill seeks the alteration of Section 106C of the Constitution. According to existing law, anyone aspiring to be a member of the House of Assembly must have been educated up to at least the school certificate level or its equivalent. But Section 106 is now replaced to read, if he has been educated up to national diploma level or its equivalent. The bill seeks the alteration of Section 177D of the Constitution for governors. As it is currently, the section states that the person must have been educated up to at least school certificate level or its equivalent. However, Section 177D is now replaced to read, if he has been educated up to at least higher national diploma level or its equivalent. The President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawal, referred the bill to the Committee on Constitutional Review after the senators passed the proposed amendment for second reading. President Muhammadu Buhari, Thursday in Argungu, Kebbi State, said the emergence of Argungu Agricultural and Fishing Festival after 11 years of suspension and other international festivals across the country signals more confidence in improved security. President Buhari assured that the federal government will sustain investment in security infrastructure to boost cultural tourism and attract more investment in the entertainment industry. Speaking at Argungu Agricultural Fair, the president noted that insecurity created a lull in tourism and entertainment for many years, with ripple effects on the economy by restricting movement, gatherings, and investment, promising to promote policies that will stimulate more interest in tourism and entertainment. The president said his presence in Argungu was an evidence of government's commitment to restoring security and expanding domestic food production as core mandate on the administration's program. The president said the nation is not only celebrating the reinstatement of this important gathering, but also celebrating the remarkable progress made in restoring peace and security to this region and indeed the country as a whole. It is also noteworthy that in Abuja, a motor rally across 5 states, which will terminate here in Argungu, was flagged off. President Muhammadu Buhari said many international festivals, such as Argungu Fishing and Cultural Festivals, were being celebrated across the country, bringing all Nigerians together and improving collective appreciation of the nation's diversity while projecting the rich history and culture of foreigners. In both instances, massive jobs are created in tourism sector, which we'll all agree is still not fully developed and must therefore continue to encourage, support and promote such festivals. The President commended the Governor of Kebbi State, the Emir of Argungu, Minister of Information and Culture, Governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, and members of the organizing committee at the local, state and federal levels for this remarkable event. First Lady, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Dr. Mrs. Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, has advocated for a review of the interest rates associated with loans from both commercial and development banks granted for the establishment of private hospitals and the provision of appropriate incentives. She made the call while receiving the Guild of Medical Doctors who paid her a courtesy visit on Thursday in Abuja. Mrs. Buhari observed that private hospitals are playing a strategic complementary role by providing a social service that benefits millions of Nigerians and appealed for tax incentives on their behalf with a view to reducing the cost of health care. She commended the patriotic zeal with which doctors carried out their duties, in some cases even at the cost of their lives. She called for a 1-minute silence for the repose of the soul of the late Dr. Ameyo Adedovo, who lost her life while saving an Ebola patient in Lagos, and 2 other doctors who died while saving the life of a Lassa fever victim in Kano. Those doctors, she said, displayed a high sense of patriotism. Mrs. Buhari also used the opportunity of the visit to call on Nigerians to be vigilant and observe the stringent preventive and control measures against the novel coronavirus COVID-19, which has become a pandemic. Speaking earlier, Professor Femi Babalola, President of the Guild, commended the First Lady for making universal and qualitative health care as one of her top priorities, especially the reduction of neonatal and maternal mortality, which she carried out through the Future Assured program. He said this indicates shared commitment between her and the Guild towards the improvement of health care of Nigerians. We'll be right back after this short commercial break. Stay tuned. Welcome back on Business. Over to Rita.
Audio Jungle. Welcome to Standard Voice Business Update. President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, on Wednesday, said the global falling price of crude oil should be a challenge for Nigeria to devise other means of growing the nation's economy. Speaking to members of the Council for New Nigeria, CFNN, when they visited him in his office, Lawan said with appropriate policies and programs, Nigeria had the potential to grow even without oil. He said, Nigeria has a challenge of oil prices that is not good right now, but there are countries that do not have oil and yet they are making progress. Maybe this is the time to start thinking of how to take people out of poverty in a country without oil, so that we will not say because the oil price has gone down, we cannot do anything. This is the time for Nigeria to come up with strategies that will not make the country to go back on its reliance on oil, even if the price improves. He adjoined Nigeria to think about how they can live as a country without oil. And that is all on Business Update. I'm Rita.
On spot, over to Fauzia.
Hello, I'm Fauzia Ibrahim with the Spot Update. Arsenal Spanish head coach Mikel Arteta gestures on the touchline during the English Premier League football match between Arsenal and West Ham at the Emirates Stadium in London on March 7, 2020. Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta has tested positive for the coronavirus, prompting the Premier League to announce they will hold an emergency meeting on Friday to discuss further fixtures. Arsenal has closed their training ground as a result of Arteta's positive test, with Gunner players and club staff who had recent contact with the Spaniard now forced to self-isolate. Arteta said in a statement on Arsenal's website that this is really disappointing, but he took the test after feeling poorly and will be at work as soon as he is allowed. Arsenal confirmed that shock news just minutes after the Premier League had said all fixtures would go ahead this weekend despite the spread of the global pandemic. That's all on sports updates. Have a nice day.
And on the international scene, a statement from Ghana's Ministry of Health said the country has recorded its first 2 cases of novel coronavirus. According to a statement, the 2 cases were persons who came back to the country recently from Norway and Turkey. It noted that the cases were confirmed on Thursday, adding that they are imported, but both patients are currently being kept in isolation and are stable. The Ghanaian Health Minister, Kwaku Agwemangmanu, did not, however, reveal the identities of those involved, but assured that the ministry have started tracing those who had contact with the patients. Manu assured Ghanaians that the government of Ghana, together with all health partners, will continue to work assiduously to ensure the situation is contained. Also, Kenya announced its first confirmed case of coronavirus on Friday, saying a woman who returned from the United States tested positive for the illness in Nairobi. The health minister, Muhi Kwagwe, told reporters that the Ministry of Health had confirmed the first case of coronavirus in Kenya. The case is a Kenyan citizen who traveled back to Nairobi, returning from the United States of America via London, United Kingdom on March 5, 2020. That has been the news from Standard Voice Television. To end the news, a quick look at the major headlines. Governor Bello Matawalle signs Memorandum of Understanding for aerial surveillance helicopters in Zamfara State. International Women's Day was celebrated in Zamfara State. Zima conducts needs assessment visits to volatile areas. On business, falling oil price a challenge for Nigeria to look inwards. On sports, Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta tests positive for coronavirus. And in the international scene, Ghana and Kenya record first case of coronavirus. That's the news. On behalf of the production crew, Head of News and Current Affairs, Ibrahim Garbatini, I am Svtv Ibrahim, wishing you a